Hey everybody, who is ready for the brand new craft room tour of 2025? So we installed these doors into my craft room, and for those who don't remember, I turned my dining room into a craft room. So let's go ahead and take a look. So we left the walls this navy blue color. And for those who remember, my table was here, and now I put it on the opposite wall because I thought that this opened up the space a little bit more, and I truly think it did. And also, if you guys remember, that I had an opening to my kitchen, and we closed that off. And backing out, we added double doors to my craft room. So I'm not going to go into full depth of everything, but I'll give you an idea about where everything is positioned. So starting to the left of my craft room, and I'm doing this on my phone, so bear with me. I have all of my paper stuff. Now, not everything is in here. I have a few things that didn't fit, but for the most part, all of my cardstock is here. Now, I will tell you the reason why it's on this wall is because I get a lot of evening sun in the west directions there, and it just comes right in. And if cardstock hits the sun a lot, it will discolor your cardstock. And I thought this was a good area to protect the cardstock from the light. So I have everything organized as far as like spellbinders, and then this is Concord ninth, and then I have some miscellaneous brands of like Stamp Market and some other variety of cardstock. And then I have all of my pattern cardstock, and believe it or not, I actually had 2 shelves full of pattern cardstock, and I ended up donating a lot of it. Okay, so to the right, I have some more cardstock. This is just stuff from like Park Lane and Michael's. So if the sun gets to it, I'm not too worried about it. That cardstock is not as expensive as the spellbinders in Concord ninth. So I still have my shelf, or my little, I don't know what you call this, like little bookcase. It's not even a bookcase, but I have this from, bought this from IKEA. So you can just see, I keep all of my scraps. So I'm not going to go into detail about that because you can catch it in my other my other tour of my craft room. Just same thing, different location. Okay. Over here, I have just some miscellaneous things that I still need to figure out where it's going to go. And then I have, if you guys remember crafting with me on this little thing that I just had to have, and I put all my 6x6 cardstock stuff. So I actually had a lot of these as 12x12s, and since I'm not a scrapbooker, I'm a card maker, I didn't think it was necessary to keep it at 12x12, so I just went ahead and trimmed it down 6x6. I don't know if I'm going to like that because I'm just kind of playing around with that, and if it goes well, I might trim some of my patterns down to 6x6 to kind of consolidate some of it. Okay, so in here, it's just a bunch of miscellaneous stuff that I store, like fabrics and some other things I don't really craft much with, but I still keep it around just in case I would use it. Now over here, I had bought this a little while ago. This is new to my craft room, so this was in my craft room tour in the last video. Here, this is new. It's a lot bigger than I anticipated when I bought it, but I like it because you can actually open this up, and also you can pull this out. So I have my Ohuhus, my Copics. I have more Copics somewhere else. And then this is where it houses my blending brushes as well. There's some somewhere else, and I'll show you guys that in a moment. And I'm going to go ahead and close that up. I actually have some more markers that didn't fit in this shelf here. So those are my tri-blends that I have up there. Okay, so down below, I have these little containers, if you will, and those are my everyday sentiments, stamps and dies, my basic dies, and cutting plates. So I'm in the middle of trying to figure out how I want to organize my stamps and dies. And I think I'm going to organize them. These will remain the same. But if you look up here, I have bundle sets. And then over here, I have stamps and stencils, which means they don't have any dies. And then my press plates. And then over there, I have my stamp die bundles plus embossing folders. So, oh, and then I also have, let me pan back over, this, I have, I don't know what you want to call this, just like stuff that I've used. I just haven't labeled. I got to label this container. But the reason why I haven't labeled that container is because I'm not sure if I want to continue leaving as bundle sets. I think I can recall what company a certain stamp and stencil is from, but I can't recall, you know, what exactly I have. So I'm in the middle of trying to figure that out. Like I said, I think I'm going to organize by company. And then I'll bring another video and show you guys how I did that. Now in this little cart here, speaking of stamps and dies, all that, this cart here has all my new product. So once I use the product, I put them in these containers, and that way I know that I use them. And that way I don't have to worry about creating with it. I mean, I guess I do if I want to reuse it, which I will eventually, but I have a lot of new stuff that I need to get to. Like down there, I organized all of my Christmas stuff. So I have a lot of, well, not just there, but my newer Christmas stuff. But anyways, so all new product that I bought, I haven't used, goes in this cart. And then once they get used, I'll organize them, put them away. Behind here, and I apologize for any sniffles. I think I'm getting a cold, so trying to battle that. But this is where all of my paints are located, just all down here. I don't really access paint too much, so that's why I kind of tucked it in that corner. This whole thing is from Michaels. These cubicles, they're from Target, and then these like 2 shelves, and there's 1 shelf that they have as an option. Those are from Michaels. So just as an FYI, I'm not going to list everything of where I bought it, just because that would be too time consuming and I just don't have the time. But that is basically where I got everything, just as an FYI. So down here, I have my glimmer machine and my press plates and all the stuff that goes with that. Down here is where my cinch machines are. In this little drawer, it's kind of miscellaneous stuff. I have like my Cricut mats and that are new, and also just some, I have my architect scale in there, and then I have a few other things that we're going to get into. Oh, and also I have my hot glue gun and all that stuff in that drawer. Moving to the right here, I have all of my vinyl, and this is another area where I'm trying to think of how I want to restore it. It's just, the vinyl rolls take up a lot of space, and I debated on whether or not to cut them down to 12 by 12s and store them flat instead of rolled like this. So I'm not sure. I had talked to a few people about how they store their vinyls, and one thing that I was talking to Lainey from Crafted by Lucas, and she did that, I think, and I believe she told me that she doesn't do that anymore, and I asked her why, and she said it was hard to find vinyl colors, which I can understand that. So I haven't quite committed to it just yet. That's why you still see it. I was hoping to figure it out before I moved everything in my craft room, but you know, time is of an essence, and this has been a long process of rearranging or construction and rearranging. It took about 13 hours for me to rearrange everything. And I'm still not 100%, but enough to get a video out to y'all. Down here is just my Cricut vinyl rolls for the Joy and the Joy Extra. Here's some of my newer vinyls that it can't obviously fit. I have condensed a lot of them. I have a lot of duplicates because I'm a sucker for clearance, especially with how today's prices are. But again, these are like a lot of newer stuff, so I got to filter them in there and make some room. So how I have it organized, actually, let me move this cart real quick. So how I have my vinyl rolls organized. This here is all my HTV and sublimation, and then from here and over, this is all just vinyl. Well, it should be just vinyl. Let's just put it that way. So I have my whites, my blacks, my multicolors, and then I think, yeah, multicolors, and then I have my pinks and reds, my gray or my blues, then more multicolor, and then I have orange and yellow, grays and purples, and then my greens. So not exactly rainbow order, it's just the order that I end up choosing for no specific reason. Slightly above that, I have my inks. So I have some Miscellaneous brands. So I think I have I have Pink Fresh Studio, I have the Stamp Market there, and I think that's all that I have in that area. And then also above there, so these ink holders, those are designed by me and 3D printed by my husband. So I took the measurements of the inks, and then I went ahead and designed it in a software called Inventor, and then I gave my husband, in case you wanted to know what I did, gave my husband the file, and then he was able to 3D print. It took 12 hours, I think, to print each one. He made them really super thick and sturdy, so that is why it took so long. So it took a few days for all of this to 3D print. Now so this is just, over here's Pink Fresh Studio, Stamp Market. Here are my Distress Oxides. I have all of them, and I had to kind of tweak the design a little bit because they are more square than elongated like the regular ink pads. So I went ahead and did that. And then behind there, I just have stuff that I don't use a lot, or duplicates of ink and stuff like that. So I have storage back behind these things because obviously you can look over here, it goes pretty far back, right? So I have stuff that I just don't use but need access to, so that's why I did that. And then over in this corner here, I have like wood stuff, so just wood elements, laser cut stuff. And then above that, I have watercolor stuff, and then this is just like a Miscellaneous. There's my machine that started my card making years and years ago, that I don't use, but it cuts acetate really well for the most part, so I keep that around. And you never know, if the power's out, I may need to do it manually because I'll be jonesing to craft. And then there I have my Christmas dies and stamps and embossing folders that I purchased last year that I really didn't get to. So I'll be crafting with a lot of Christmas stuff. A lot of it will not come to my channel, mainly because I don't want to overwhelm you with card stuff, but I'll be posting on my Instagram. So be sure to check out my Instagram if you want to see more card creations from me. That will not make it. Some will make it to the channel. Okay, before I put my cart back in the corner, because of the size of my craft room, I did lose some space or cubicles here. In fact, because I closed out the wall over on the opposite side, I actually have more space, and I don't really need it. In fact, I got rid of these 2 boxes because I ended up not needing it. Mainly because, and I didn't get rid of anything, honestly. The only thing I got rid of, I should say, is my resin and my fake bake stuff. Not all my resin stuff, but mainly my fake bake took like at least, I don't know, 6 of these shelves, and now it's all in a container and it's going upstairs in storage until I want to get back into it. I don't want to get rid of it, but I do have some space here in the corner that I can get into and put stuff that I don't need to use, but I want to keep, like my bright pad. I can get into that. All I got to do is kind of get my hand in there, turn it, and then pull it out. It's a little bit of a hassle, but it's obviously stuff that I don't need to use often. So Again, I have, this is all Concord and Ninth. I also have some Gina K and Positively Saturated ink from Simon Says Stamp. So I do have some more Miscellaneous. If I get any more inks, I'm going to have to design, or I'm going to have to 3D print some more. So these cost, I want to say, my husband told me how much each of what these cost, because these are separate. Like this row is one piece. Let me bring it out for you. So here you can see that I have stuff behind here, so you know it's not wasted space. But here is kind of the thickness of it, and then the back. Okay, so it's plastic, it's filament, is what it is. Okay, so again, I designed it and then he 3D printed it, and I added this anti-slick, whatever this thing's called, so that way these things won't fall out, because you can kind of see I just cut it and put it in there. And the reason why I did that is because one day I was moving some of this and all of it came out and I got ink everywhere. And thank goodness all these inks have the name on the back in addition to the top, because, oh, that would have been a disaster trying to figure out what the name of each of those inks are. Oh my goodness, it would have been a nightmare. So I thought something had to have been done, because if you bring it down here, it's so slippery, and so I had to have some type of slip resistant thing. And I also put it on the bottom here. So anyways, I think my husband said it probably cost the filament, I think it was going to be like $15 per one, and I think he said $15 or $20. So it's not exactly cheap for me to have my husband do that. And it takes half of a filament roll. So if anyone's familiarized with like how much filament you use, it's quite a bit. So this is why I don't sell it, because I could never do it commercially. It would be way too expensive for you guys to pay for, and you guys would probably find it somewhere cheaper. So this is why I don't attempt to sell it. I already discussed that. I have more blending brushes. So those are my Pink Fresh Studio blending brushes. And then here I have all my Distress oxides. Not all, actually I have some somewhere else, but all that can fit in here. I have paint brushes and like, you know, popsicle sticks, glues, tape, all that stuff here. And here I use, this is pre-cut card bases and also panels. Just below that is, this is all my Concord and Ninth paper scraps. Beneath there, I have my 80-pound cardstock, and I also have my 110-pound cardstock. Both are from Hobby Lobby. And then just beneath that, this is some miscellaneous paper and stuff I don't want to get into just yet, because we're going to be bringing that to the channel here soon. You guys know that I make my own card bases, or my card foam panels. So this is like the leftover. I have a ton of it. Y'all should see how much I have made. And then here's some more cardstock that I have. Now this used to be, let me pan over. It used to stick out here, but on the other side. And I had to rethink that, because this door is stationary. This door right here. It's not stationary. It's locked, right? This is the one that locks into the jamb. So this is the door that I would open and close all the time. This one, I would only open it if I want to air out my craft room. Otherwise it would stay closed. And it was just making it awkward for me to come into my craft room to come sit down. So I put it over here. And this still needs to be organized. This top one is good to go, but this is all my ink cubes and my Alta News that I have, and some miscellaneous. Like here's some Distress oxides. Again, I still need to really organize it, but after 13 hours of me trying to figure out everything, I was kind of pooped. And this is how it was organized before I moved everything, so I thought we're good to go. Beneath here, I just have some, again, all miscellaneous stuff. I use this for my quarter rounds, and I also use this to put my cards on top, so that way I get a good picture. Yeah, just stuff that I use for card making. This is empty because it went into the cabinet over there, and I'll show you guys that in a moment. So, well, not empty completely, but you see what I'm saying. All right, my paper trimmer used to be here. Now it's underneath my table. I'll show you that later. Here's just some other miscellaneous things. This is for my personal summers that I are now starting to get. Yay me. This is my Concorded 9th ink cubes. I don't use them often unless I am doing my better press, which better presses usually do better with smaller ink cubes so you're not getting ink everywhere. I have my longer mats here. I have transfer tape, and I have my black and white tech wrap vinyl. So this stuff that my go-to stuff. And then the drawer beneath that is just a bunch of fabric. It's not fun to look at, so I'm just not bothered to open that one. Okay, so over here I have embossing powder and then some embossing folders beneath here. So I typically store my inks and my stencils in smaller folders, but for the larger stuff, they had to go here because they don't fit in this cap and these little containers. And then over there, there's some new material, and then my heat press and my little smaller one, and then some miscellaneous material. And then over here, I have my button press, and then I have some folder or little drawers that I need to label, but they're just basically all miscellaneous, so I need to go through that. Here's all my embellishments, and then I have more pattern cardstock here. So again, I told you they were kind of spread out throughout my craft room. I have my card supplies, which is a mess. This is all I had when I first started. That was in my craft room. I had more in our second pantry / underneath the storage space underneath the stairs, and and well, anyways, I started off with just this tiny little drawer here. Now it's exploded in my craft room because I have no self-control. Okay, and then I have some miscellaneous stuff there. I have all of my crystal drops and my drops of color, and then some more self-adhesives, and then just some more sprays there. And there's like my resin stuff that I haven't completely got rid of because I know it could work in my crafting stuff that I use, like especially for card making, and you guys will be seeing a video here soon of what I'm talking about, so stick with me. My setup. We're not completely done with setting up my camera and my light. We're literally just got everything into position. I still need to shift my camera over and whatnot. I still want to decorate and everything, but again, I just wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. I know you guys are eagerly waiting for that to happen, so I am doing my best, especially since I'm trying to fight this cold. So again, I apologize. But underneath there, I have like cups and stuff like that, and then you can kind of slightly see back there I have all of my foam panels that I did. It's a huge container. When my craft room was in construction, I had to do something. I just couldn't sit there and watch TV or whatever. Like, I had to keep myself busy. So I have two of these drawers. One's on rollers and then the other one is not, because this one's going to stay stationary. I guess I could take the rollers off of this one, but anyways, let's go ahead and dive into those real quick. Okay, so this is my go-to drawer. I have all of my Cricut utensils, scissors, more scissors, and some miscellaneous stuff. Again, because I have that other drawer system, I am missing, or have some space available, but my scraper tools, more pens, and then more miscellaneous stuff. This is all of the embellishments that I typically go to. I know I have more here, but this is more of the higher end embellishments, which means like the wholest sequins, if that makes sense. Not all of them, but the majority of them. And then here, this is all 12 by 12 that I bought individuals. So I didn't cut this down. It just kind of came like that, of vinyl, I should say. So that's where that's located. And then I have just some miscellaneous stuff down there. My shears, hot glue, and whatnot. I really need to get a different thing. Anyways, that's what that drawer is. Up here is my Sizzix Big Shot. So I have you know, enough slack where I could rotate it. I love it. And then I have my cardstock scraps. This is like my go-to. Let me bring this out here real quick. I have my Cricut Joy back there. This is like all of my white cardstock scraps. And then I have, this is all from Spellbinders. This is just miscellaneous colored cardstocks. And then this is Spellbinders as well. And then this is Park Lane. I should really keep this organized. Some white cardstock and then an empty one. So that's how I organize that. And I just keep it right here so that way I can just grab while I'm crafting. And then here is where I keep my 8.5, or I'm sorry, my card panels. I just grabbed from here. My little camera. I had stuff in here, but it got moved, so now I have some more space. So I can just put something in there. And then my keyboard goes up there when I record, so I have my whole mat to myself. So not a lot of desk space, but still a fair amount of desk space. Oops, sorry for the shaking. And these are from Michael's, just as an FYI. And this is from Target. You'll see that I got the ugly side because it's facing me, and I don't care. It's more so if someone's looking at my craft room, I want the nice side to look out towards them. I don't know why that matters, but it does to me. Here is like my go-to utensils to make cards. I got my inks, my embossing powders, my gloss accents, and, you know, just miscellaneous stuff. All my foam and adhesives and all that fun stuff there. This is my baby wipe area and then my smaller paper trimmer. And then I have some empty drawers. And then I have some empty drawers here and there that I have not filled up just yet. And I'm sure this is all going to change on some of the organizational stuff until I get used to being flipped over to the other side of the craft room. But again, it was hard for me to reach the blinds to open them and close them. And plus, once 3 o'clock hit, the sun was just blaring into my eyes and it was so hard to craft. And I don't like my blinds closed during the day. And it always made me kind of depressed. So once I had access to this space now, I knew that I had to flip my room. Okay, so on this side, I have this thing. It's actually for a kitchen, and I can move it in and out, so I can move it out of my way. So this houses like projects, upcoming projects that I'm going to be working on. And then in here's my go-to Copics, my Olos. I think, are they called Olos? No, right? Yeah, Olos. And then my adhesives and some more of my Distress Oxide sprays that are new that I have not put away. And then I just have my Beats headphones. This I don't use much anymore. And then down here, just some random stuff that I made. Over here, I have my printer that I turned into sublimation printer that I haven't worked in a while, so I don't know if it's going to be working well. Then I have all my craft blanks and some storage containers, craft foam, tape, all that fun stuff. And then over here on the right side, I just have some miscellaneous stuff that I don't need access to right away. So this is my craft room, you all, the long-awaited craft room. And I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have questions of how I organize something, feel free to ask. I did not forget about the video that I said I would answer your questions. It's been a crazy time since I made that video. So one of these videos, I promise I will answer those questions. I was hoping to do it in this video, but I actually have to get going and stop recording here in a second. So, but yeah, so this is just what it looks like. This is where the magic happens. This is my happy room. I love it. And I just want to give a big shout out to my dad and my husband, especially my husband, my dad has helped my husband do the construction, and my husband worked really hard to give me the craft room that I absolutely wanted. And, I so much appreciate them. And to my mom and my sister who had watched my daughter while I was at work and they were busy working on my craft room. And I just appreciate everybody's help of making my craft room dream come true. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, and by the way, I have more craft supplies, you all. I don't want you to think that this is all I have, because I say that because I'm a hoarder of craft supplies, so I don't want you to feel alone. I have them throughout the house. In fact, if you watch my other craft room tour, you'll see how much more I have. It's still in those same locations that I shared in that video. But I don't like a lot of, like I wouldn't not have enough room if I had all of my craft supplies, and they're really just craft blanks, really. So you're not alone if you have a lot of craft blanks. I just don't have them in this room well, because I don't really have the room for it, right? And my husband allows me to come into his little room, like his little gaming area. We call it the game room because we have 2 TVs mounted, and we have his computer desk in there, and it's our downstairs bedroom. And I moved in there because I ran out of space in my craft room. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next card or craft video. I truly hope that you enjoyed this video. And again, if you have questions, just let me know. I will be more than happy to answer them. All right. Thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting my channel. Bye.